What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. This beast is what we're working on today. Alright guys, here's the tools that you're going to need for the job. We have a large torque wrench. We have a 1/2-inch drive ratchet. A 3/8-inch drive ratchet. A 1/4-inch ratchet. Now for our extensions, we want, this is an 8-inch, I believe it's an 8-inch. 1/2-inch drive ratchet, extension. A short stubby 1/2-inch drive. We have a 6-inch 3/8-inch drive ratchet, extension once again. We have a 1/4-inch drive, and this one's really important. We have a wobble, see the wobble tip on the end? That's going to be very helpful in getting us out the torque bolts on our bell housing. Also, I know you can't probably see it, this one's a 3-foot long 3/8-inch drive extension, but I recommend getting the black impact. I used one from the shop, it was like 4 feet long. That is really going to help you. Do not want to strip out the bolts. For our sockets, for your 3/8-inch drive, we have a 12mm and a 13mm for your exhaust hangers. For some of your main bolts, for the braces, are 18mm socket and a 16mm socket. Remember, these are 1/2-inch drive. For your wrenches, we have a 22mm for the oxygen sensors. Very important. We have an 18mm wrench. You're gonna need this to get the nuts off of the bolts that are attached to the guibo or the flex plate on the end of the transmission. Then we have a 15 and 17mm brake line wrench and a 16. Oops. We have a large pry bar to help separate the transmission from the engine. Rubber mallet, this is going to come in handy helping take off our driveline and a few other things. You're going to need at least 4 or 5 pairs of these. These are great gloves. They're going to keep you from cutting your hands open. We're going to be dealing with a lot of sharp metal parts. I love these things. We have brake clean. This stuff to clean off any of the parts. You might have to clean off some of the grease to get to some of the bolts depending on how dirty your motor is. Your safety glasses. Always wear these safety glasses. These are going to keep all the grease and crap out of your eyes. Sandwich bags. A must-have also to separate your bolts. And I would recommend writing like little pieces of paper with the name of the bolt or where it came from. That'll help you in your organization so you don't lose anything. No extra bolts, that's bad. We also have a short wobble extension. A pair of wire cutters to help cut the zip ties on the driver's side to undo some of the connectors. We're going to need this, a large, strong, flathead screwdriver for helping separate the transmission. We have a 5mm hex or Allen wrench to help take out the sensor on the transmission before we pull it. We have a Phillips screwdriver, a pick. This is going to help you pull off the tabs so you don't break any of the connectors when you're taking them out. We have a short, stubby flathead. It's going to help you get into all kinds of little tight places. Now, these are the king right here. We got 3/8" drive, 6-piece external torque socket. You can see how the socket is. It's much different than a regular socket. You want to use the right one so you don't strip out the bolts. The ones we're specifically going to be working with are the external 12 and the external the E10. Those are the ones that you're really going to use for this one. Now your application might be different. I'm dealing with an E64, and so BMW probably has, like, you know, external torques, 14s, whatever. So these should cover it. But I do recommend that you go with the black impact sockets and not these smaller ones. And that's just about it for the tools. So let's get started on this job. Disconnect the battery. The battery's dead anyway, so we need to charge it. First thing we're going to do is we're going to remove the 2 nuts on both sides. Start removing these hangers all the way back and disconnect this exhaust. Alright, the next thing that we'll be removing is this hanger that's attached to the exhaust. It's a 13mm. And I'll be right back. Next, we're going to be doing a support hanger at the end of the exhaust, and it's 2 more 13mm nuts. Next, we're going to remove the end bolts holding the bracket to the end of the exhaust on both sides, and that is 4 13mm nuts. Alright, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to take off the support brace right here. It's 4 18mm bolts. I like to screw the nuts and stuff back in their places so you don't lose them. A lot easier to keep track of. Now we remove the metal plate. Alright, the next thing that we have is these 1, 2, 13mm on both sides for the hangers for the rear exhaust. Alright, next we have the heat shield. Got 4 10mm nuts. Alright, the next thing that we're going to do is going to remove the engine shield and its 5 16mm bolts. Next we're going to use a 12 external Torx and take out our drive shaft bolts. Alright, to get to the last torque bolt, we put the car in neutral, and then we're just going to spin the drive shaft around until the torque bolt is visible. Now we're going to put the parking brake on and break it loose. Alright, next thing that we're going to do is get our screwdriver in here. Alright, the next thing that we have, guys, is the guibo up here, and we have to get these. They're 18mm bolts, but there's a nut, and you have to get your wrench. Slide your 18mm wrench. Let's see. Oh, okay. Here we go. 18mm wrench and bolt. Alright, now we have the 3 bolts out for the drive shaft. And the next thing that we're going to do is these 2 13mm that hold the drive shaft in. We're going to lower them down slowly and then pull the drive shaft. 15mm. Alright guys, so we got the drive shaft out. It should look like this, where we're at with our progress. There's our rear end, and we continue on. So now we're going to start unhooking the connectors. It's just a simple push tab on both sides. Alright, now we unhook the oil sensor. And with these clips, we're gonna have. Alright. So we got Phillips. Alright guys, my other phone kind of died in the process, but as you see, we got all the connectors. Everything is undone. They're pretty much simple push connectors. A few of them are a little bit tricky, and we want to undo all the connectors on both sides. Next thing we're gonna do is get a 22mm and undo these oxygen sensors and put them in the back here. But make sure you don't touch the filament. Alright, the next thing that we're gonna do is we're going to take a 5mm Allen and, wait a minute, is this a 5? Oh yeah, it is a 5mm Allen, and take the sensor out on the transmission so it doesn't get damaged. Next thing that we want to do is there's two 13mm nuts. We're going to remove those two, and then we have two 16mm right here. Alright guys, so we have the transmission supported, the brace, and we have these three and these three 13mm. And then the tranny will start drooping down so we can access some of the bolts. Alright guys, so as you can see, we got the bolts, the torque bolt off the top. We pulled all the ones to the side except the bottom, and we're gonna loosen these two, and then let's get ready to lower the car, get ready to take this transmission out. Now we get to do a little bit of a deadlift. Day one, we got the transmission pulled. We pulled the clutch. The flywheel's burnt. I gotta see if we can get it resurfaced. And we gotta put a new clutch kit in this bad boy. As always, if you like what you see in the video, or you have any input on a video that you'd like to see, go ahead and leave a comment, and I will get back to you as quick as possible. Like, subscribe. We doing this shit. We doing it big. Peace.